Still trying to get the kinks worked out of that. What is up, everybody? Give me 1 second. So again, we're figuring some stuff out. Trying to figure out how this stuff works on Restream before I make a massive overhaul to everything. But let's see, we got how many people in the chat so far? We got a few people in the chat. So I guess before we get started, shout out to everybody who is here. Thank you for joining. I am your host, or I'll be guiding you through this figure it out session again. My name is Davin Jackson. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hope you are having a great week. So if you've been here before, you know how we do it. But if not, um, let's figure stuff out. Is literally that we're gonna do some Q&A. Hey, what's going on, Mary? We're gonna do some Q&A. So if you have any questions, I will not end the stream until I have answered all your questions, and then we'll look at some other things and any questions you may have. So first, the rules are. We are halfway through the week, so we're almost to the end of another week. Let me know what you are excited for and something that you're trying to figure out. It could be in life, career, whatever. And then also what questions you have for me. The questions can be about tech, cybersecurity, gaming, esports. I will try my best to answer every question. If not, we will go ahead and try to figure it out on stream. If we have to look it up together or whatever. All I ask is that you keep it clean, keep it respectful. So, couple things. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. We're good. Yeah, I think I got the microphone on. So, okay. So yeah, couple things I'll do is I want to answer some questions that I guess came in after the stream last week, and then just kind of give you an update on everything that's been going on. So, actually, let's do the update first, and then I'll go into some of the questions. So that this way, if anybody does have any questions, we can get into that. So, updates on what I'm doing. Things are still making progress. We got to hang out with the Atlanta Hawks last week. I think we talked about that where we had the STEM day with the Atlanta Hawks. Well, the Atlanta Hawks Talon GC Gaming Club invited us to come down to State Farm Arena this past Monday to watch one of their esports matches. So, for those who don't know, the NBA also owns or runs the NBA 2K League, where each NBA team has an esports representative that plays for that team during throughout their season. And this past week, the Hawks Talon Gaming Club played against Toronto Uprising, which is the Toronto Raptors esports club. So we got to go out there and hang out and get a little crazy with them and have some fun. Unfortunately, the Hawks did lose, but it was still a great time. I made it like a field trip for my kids who are members of the center here. So signed them all up, brought them down, and let them go and see some of the players, some of the esports players, and hang out and just enjoy. It was a really good time, and I'm looking forward to doing more with that. So thanks to Coach Wes and my crew, Coach E and Tariq and Malcolm, for inviting me down and letting me bring my kids as well as my esports kids to enjoy that event. So like I said, so we had that. What else have we done? Been having a lot of meetings, something, and it's crazy because I successfully ran a weekly podcast for about 2 years straight, every week. And then I went ahead and hosted another podcast while doing the live stream podcast. And I don't think I've ever been as exhausted as I am now. Like, meetings wear me out. It's just been, meeting after meeting. Right now it's been great. It's been a great experience to meet and talk with a lot of people. I have met with people from the local community. I've met people from the metro Atlanta area. I've met people from other parts of Georgia. I've met people in other states about doing partnerships. I've even had, even up until today, I've had people from other countries reach out to me. So we are definitely moving in the right direction. But those of you who are entrepreneurs know that can still be a bit challenging because at that point, we're just talking and kind of feeling each other out. There's no contract signed, no budget talks or anything like that. So we are definitely working towards those next steps. And fingers crossed. I'm gonna leave it up to the higher power to if it's meant to be, then it'll be. If not, then we'll try to figure out what's next, right? Um, it's weird. I'm looking and I don't see. Are we? Yep, it says we are. Okay, so and for those who don't know, again, we are streaming using Restream. Shout out to Restream, and we are streaming on multiple platforms. So wherever you are watching this, thank you. We are watching. You're watching on YouTube, watching on Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Trovo. Because again, we're figuring stuff out, and we're trying to look at other. We're also looking at other streaming platforms to see. I know someone mentioned using Kick the other day. That may be something that we do in the near future, but right now I'm just kind of weighing my options. I can't find. I'm looking for the LinkedIn stream. If anybody is on LinkedIn, let me know if you see my stream there. If not, then you know, sorry. I think there's some type of error with LinkedIn right now. But yeah, so that's kind of the things that we're working on. Obviously, we're still working on getting more people here at the center. We're creating different programs. Like we have a PC building workshop. So anybody who wants to build a gaming PC, you can contact us. We price it out, and we'll go get the parts for you from Micro Center. And then when we have our workshop, you'll be able to build your own computer. We'll go through the whole process of explaining each component, explaining how to secure it because, cybersecurity. And then we'll test it out and make sure that it's ready to go for you to bring home and enjoy some gaming from your own PC at home. We're also working on revamping some of our esports clubs. So, or I shouldn't say revamping, reopening registration now that we are back to doing it independently. We'll go back to doing our esports clubs where we can train and see if we can try to compete in some of these local and national tournaments or even some of the virtual ones. Um, so on the cybersecurity front, we are going to talk about the Appsec Rabbit Hole. So just sit tight for that. Um, and I don't know. I'm just looking to, we'll see what's going on there. I do have to plan the next intro to ethical hacking workshop, but I'm also going to probably do like an API hacking workshop very soon. And then we'll do some basic cybersecurity. So we'll have our cyber safety 101 workshops. We will have, and then I'll be giving a bunch of different talks in micro courses or micro workshops. Those will be free because that's just something that I feel like people should just know in the community, whether you work in tech or not. These are things that you can do at home. So again, if you are just joining, let me know what you're excited for or what you're trying to figure out. What are you working on? And leave your question for me. So Ty says doing a man in the middle attack would have to be completed after the initial foothold. Would this be the post exploitation phase? Man in the middle attacks don't necessarily have to be done after the initial foothold. It all depends on what you're doing and where you're sitting. For example, well, I guess that's still having a foothold. But for example, if you do a man in the middle or a person in the middle attack, because, but if we want to do that type of attack, let's say I go into a Starbucks where they have public Wi-Fi, Starbucks or a Barnes and Noble, and I have a Wi-Fi hotspot or a Wi-Fi pineapple or something like that, that allows me to mimic another Wi-Fi network. So now when people go on, they think they're connecting to the open Wi-Fi from that Starbucks or Barnes and Noble, and they're actually connecting to my Wi-Fi network. Now that allows me to be that person in the middle to receive that information, that data that's being passed from the user or their browser over the internet to their destination. Um, but in the sense of what I guess what you're talking about, as far as it being a post exploitation, I guess if you're thinking from a penetration testing standpoint, when you're working and you have that initial foothold after the exploitation, you connect and do a man in the middle attack. Um, I guess that could be considered post exploitation. Um, just in a real world scenario, I just don't see. Yeah, no, I guess that's after the initial phase. Yeah, you're probably, yeah. I think that might that's more, that would be more post exploitation than anything else, in my opinion. I'm just trying to think out loud here. I mean, it could also be considered exploitation if you found a foothold to get. Hmm, I don't know. Chaos, what's going on? Again, happy Wednesday. We're here figuring stuff out. So again, let me know what you're excited for as we get towards, as we come towards, over the hump towards the end of the week. And let's and one thing in the chat that you're trying to figure out. And then again, if you have any questions for me while we are streaming, I will do my best to answer every single question before I go off, before I come off the live stream today. So I got a really good question the other day after our last stream in regards to what I was saying about not having to, I guess, work in tech or work at a tech company to be in tech. And then also what I do at Alpha Esports and Technology. And I guess the question was that, like it was phrased in a way, and I had it written down, but I left it at my home office. But it was phrased as if, what I was saying they didn't quite fully understand. So when I say you don't have to work in tech to have a tech job. I mean, it's kind of exactly what I said. Um, when people think about tech, they think about working at a FANG company, or they think about working at Microsoft, or they work for Dell, or they work for something that is tech related. So they work for Cisco, they work for Facebook, they work for Apple, um, Amazon, Netflix, Google. They think of these tech companies. Um, you don't necessarily have to work there, right? Everybody needs cybersecurity. Everybody needs security, whether they like to admit it or not, whether they have the budget for it or not, whether they want to pay the right money or not. They need cybersecurity. Mary just said she worked at a casino. I worked in a school system. I worked at Circuit City, but I guess that would be considered a tech job because I worked at the PC bench. Um, I worked for a cryptocurrency company. I worked for a rehabilitation center. Um, so yeah, these are all, they all need they if there's tech in it, they need to be, the tech needs to be monitored, the tech needs to be fixed and maintained, and the tech needs to be secured. So you don't necessarily have to work for a tech company. So when I hear people talk about all the time, the job market is rough right now. It is, that it is very much so hard to find a job, especially if you have a ton of experience and you're accustomed to getting a certain pay rate. It could be a little challenging, but I tell people all the time to look where others aren't looking. Right, everybody's going on and they're looking for a tech job, or they're looking for a company at one of these. They're looking for a job at one of these tech outfits, right, or these cybersecurity outfits or consultancies. You don't necessarily have to do that. Go check. If you don't, go check the hospital. Contact the banks, um, casinos, school systems. All these facilities need tech or cyber or cybersecurity. Um, yep, big foundations and nonprofits. They also are looking for tech and cybersecurity. Like I said, I worked at a rehabilitation center. they all have things that they need to protect, right? They all have data. So if they would in Mary's case with the casino, that's PCI to a certain extent, right? That's PCI, or I'm not sure if it's SOC, but there's financial transactions happening. Um, I worked at the rehab facility. That's medical. That's HIPAA. These companies have to remain compliant, and they need that. So that's what I mean when I say you don't have to work a tech. You don't have to work for a tech company to be in tech or to have a tech job. And then the second part, I guess, was as far as how am I how do I justify what I'm doing with my gaming and tech center? Well, for one, it's obvious. Okay, so there it is. Own medical facilities as well. Um, so what I'm doing with the tech center, I mean, first part is obvious because I do offer tech and cybersecurity classes and workshops occasionally. But then from the gaming side of it, there are tech jobs in gaming. There are cybersecurity jobs in gaming. When you think of some of the most popular games from Fortnite to Overwatch to Rocket League, Smash Brothers, uh, I don't know, any game with a DLC, down right, that's a transaction that you're usually making over the game. So you're on your console or you're on your PC and you're purchasing that game or you're purchasing that extra content. That's cybersecurity stuff that's happening in the background, because if not, coming full circle, if someone were to be sitting on that network and were to do a person in the middle attack, they could steal that financial data. They can steal that cardholder data. If there's most of that stuff is connecting to like a PayPal or whatever you're using for your financial transactions, those are probably API driven. More than likely is API driven. If the API is leaky, meaning if the API is giving up too much information, that's that's a cybersecurity issue. That's a PCI issue. That could be excessive data exposure. So so there's cybersecurity and tech elements to everything. Now, what I do is we first use the gaming to build on the essential skills, right? You call them soft skills. I call them essential because they're essential for any job. So we work on communication. We work on problem solving. We work on critical thinking. We work on collaborating as a team. We work on taking accountability and leadership. These are things that no matter what job field you're in, you have to have these traits, especially if you want to move up in your career. But then we look at some other things that they can do that are considered transferable skills. Some of them, well, all of them know how to troubleshoot issues. If you went into a room right now and said, my Wi Fi isn't working or the internet's not working, they will probably know how to do some basic troubleshooting. Plug it in, turn it back on, plug hardwire directly from the router or the modem to the laptop or the PC or the console. You have some who even have switches at home and know how to do VLAN setups. Um, so that's transferable. Same thing with if they have gaming PCs, they know how to build a gaming PC. They know how to troubleshoot game issues. They know how to test when the PC boots up and look at the BIOS and check the motherboard for the post test and the lights that show up. They know how to reseat RAM. That's tech support. Um, and then using some of the same skills that they use in these games. So again, there that awareness that they have to have for a lot of these games, that hand-eye coordination, the reaction time, right? These are all things that can be very helpful uh, in a job in tech or cybersecurity, especially with what I do with penetration testing. So that's the idea. And then on top of it, we do have some platforms that are teaching cybersecurity in a gamified way or a gamified platform, like a haiku or even a try hack me, where their capture the flags are part hands on, but then also Jeopardy style with the answers to how you have to answer the questions. So these are all things that you can do, um, that make them line up together. So I wanted to answer that. So again, if the person who asked that question last week is watching, or they watch this later, I hope that helped. All right. So who has anything? What other questions do we have? Or let me know what y'all are working on. I know we have some people in here who are working on certifications or getting recertified. Uh, but let me know in the comments what y'all are working on, or what y'all wanna what y'all are trying to learn. All right, now I'm debating whether I'm looking for something to get into. Oh, oh no, it's still not done. It's still not ready yet. So okay. So um, for those who saw before, I was playing the World of Haiku, doing a lot of their. Well, I did their story. I did the first part of their story, and then I'm just checking to see if the second part is ready. Looks like some of it is, but a lot of it is not. So I'm gonna wait. Uh, hmm. Come on, y'all ain't got no question. Y'all have no other questions for me today. Nothing. Nothing. Going once. Going twice. No. Okay. All right. So I'll just jump right into the next thing. So Appsec Rabbit Hole. So last week, um, we talked about um Operation Appsec Rabbit Hole and what that is. And we talked about how I wanted to create a series of streams where we did a deep dive into application security, and we're going to start from the bottom. So we're going to start from basic HTML, do a little bit of JavaScript, work on a couple other things, and then we'll move into web security and web vulnerabilities, which will then dovetail into learning about Burp Suite and then doing some web penetration testing. And then as we progress, we'll go into some of the more advanced attacks. We'll talk about cross-site scripting. We'll talk about SQL injection. We'll talk about SSRF, which I don't like SSRF, but we'll talk about how to find vulnerabilities like these. We'll learn how to fuzz for those type of vulnerabilities and how to eventually exploit them. And throughout the process, we're going to be doing a different mix of hands-on stuff. So we'll be doing stuff through Try Hack Me. We'll be building our own labs. We'll be using platforms like Over the Wire. Jonathan, is this a beginner class? Yes, it starts off as a beginner class, and then it just kind of keeps going. So we start off literally from the beginning of what is HTML. We might even build a quick website or something together. I'm still fleshing out how to do that, just because of the time management aspect of it. But yeah, so it starts off literally from basic HTML, basic JavaScript, basic CSS, or we'll kind of glance at that for a little bit, and then once we do that, we'll move into maybe a little bit of Python, and then we'll go into how to do information gathering and some offensive pen testing. And then at that point, like I said, we'll talk about building out our labs and doing a lot of things that I do, especially in my pen testing workshop. And then after that, we'll go into some of the web fundamentals. We'll talk about the web application security and the vulnerabilities that the web faces. We'll talk about using tools like Wireshark, Shodan, um, FUF, GoBuster. So we go into the process of testing that. We'll go into using Burp Suite a little bit. Um, and then we go into some of the different attacks. And like I said, we'll be doing a mixture of try hack me stuff as well as Portswigger's Web Security Academy, and then also we'll probably download some labs that you can create at home using things like VMware or VirtualBox. When am I launching that? Probably in the next few weeks. So I wanted to launch it. I wanted to have a more concrete answer this week on when I wanted to launch it, because I'm how things are working right now. I am in the process of finalizing a couple other things, um, and I want to make sure that I do have the time to be able to dedicate 1 to 2 hours, at least once a week to this. And is there anything you need to do before you jump into it? Again, if you have basic knowledge of how the web works, that'll be helpful. If you have some basic pen testing knowledge, that'll also be helpful. But again, these are things that I'm going to touch on as we get through it. Like I said, if you saw the list last week, it's a pretty extensive list. I'll see if I can bring it back up just so you can see it, because again, what I want to do is I want to offer this for free, I guess. We're doing a pay what you can or pay what you want model. So if you want to support the stream, if you want to support me in the center, um, you can use, actually, where is it? Well, there's usually a QR code up here in the corner, but you can use that to buy me a coffee. It's like $5. And Ray, what's going on? Happy midweek. Let me know what you're excited for the week, what questions you have for me, and what are you trying to figure out. But yeah, so there's typically a QR code, but I'll probably also have it in the chat as well. So if you want to support, you could spend support as much as $5, or you can go on my YouTube and do like a super chat on my Alpha Cybersecurity page. And if you want to pay even less than that, or if you don't want to pay anything at all, that's fine. I get it. The whole purpose of this is to help people learn, or learn for the first time, or learn something new. Um, because regardless of what the news says, it the economy is really the economy is kind of struggling. Um, People are struggling to find jobs, and with these skills, you'll be able to do a lot of things, not just with a company or for a company, but you'll also be able to do a lot of independent testing. You can go become an independent contractor. You can become a bug bounty hunter. If you really have some of the skills, you can sign up for a program like Cobalt and become one of the Cobalt Quartet pen testers, where they can call you and you do a pen test for them, and it's all independently. So just a way to supplement your income, or even just make a career out of it. So my goal with the Appsec Rabbit Hole is to help give you the foundational skills. Not, like I said, we're not going to go into a deep dive of everything. We may do some deep dives on certain parts, but for the most part, like I said, we're just going to kind of touch on certain things, and I'm going to give you the tools that you can use to then help further and do the research, and also get into it. Um, Working on getting richer than Jeff Bezos. Listen, I don't even want to be richer than Jeff Bezos. I just need like a small percentage, and then I can do with whatever I need. But let me see if I can bring up. I'm gonna bring up the document real quick just so y'all can see what I'm talking about when I say the list is pretty long. So if you can see my screen, which I believe you can, um, you have the basics. So we'll do some Linux fundamentals, and here's the try hack me links. And then you'll see there's again a lot of these are try hack me, and then we get into a couple things where we are testing for ourselves. So you don't see those on this list, but we're doing we'll do Bandit, and we'll do over the wire and do those challenges as well. But here you see, we'll also look at some when we get down here to the application securities part of it. We'll start looking at source code review. We'll look at using grep, which is a Linux tool that everybody's going to use. We'll probably also use curl. I'm just going to add that here because I didn't do that before. So we're also going to use tools like curl. So now you know how to do it manually as opposed to having to use web, tools like Burp Suite or using a website at all, or a web browser at all, I should say. We'll look at SAST and DAS scanning. We'll also look at Sneak has some trainings there, so we'll look at that, and then we'll get into APIs. We'll look at my course that we have on LinkedIn to kind of give an overview, and then we'll also look at what they have on Try Hack Me. We'll talk about building using Burp Suite and Postman together, and then we'll build out another virtual lab and use Postman and Burp Suite in that lab to exploit vulnerabilities in OWASP Crappy and VAPI or vulnerable API. And then we also look at doing some stuff with cloud and IoT, and then we'll talk about bug bounties. So again, if you see, I mean, it looks like 1 or 2 pages, but when you actually look at some of the challenges, it's going to be a lot. So we're going to go through this whole list together. We're going to work on what we can, and so what I want to do is I want to make sure once I get the final say so on some of these things that I have lingering, I'll be able to create a regular schedule that we can do this together, so that this way everybody knows, hey, we're going to be doing this at this time. And if you can't get there live, then maybe we'll do it. I'll record the streams or what have you, and you'll be able to access it after that. Is this all online or do you do some in person? Right now we're going to do it online. If you are local to the area and you want to come hang out at the center, bring your laptop and we could do that as well. But right now, it's like I said, it's crafted to kind of be virtual because again, there are people all over who I know would benefit from this. So yeah, so that's what we're doing with the Appsec Rabbit Hole. Like I said, I really wanted to come to you this week and say, hey, we're going to start it tomorrow or we're going to start it next week. But like I said, a lot of these meetings have just gone into other meetings, and we were supposed to have answers for certain things, and we don't have answers just yet. And as much as I want to sit here and say, we can just go ahead and do it. I want to make sure that I have the time to be able to do this, especially since we're going to be doing this for essentially for free. So I want to make sure that the things that I do have locked in that are supposed to bring in income are secure. So I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. If those who know me know I don't try to hide much, I'm pretty much an open book. So that's the real of it. I want to make sure that the things that I do have lined up that are going to bring me a regular recurring income, to keep the lights on, not just here, but not just at the center, but just in life in general, that's secure. And then once I know that that's secure, then I know I have the time. I can carve out that time in my calendar to say, okay, these are the times I have available. So so that's what we're waiting on. I really hope to have an answer very soon, and just be patient. We'll just be patient with me. So we talked about the Appsec Rabbit Hole. We covered that, and again, like I said, it's going to be, if you want it to be, it will be absolutely free. If you want to support it, you can click the QR code or the Buy Me a Coffee link that I will probably have in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, go to my Alpha Cybersecurity channel, because that one has monetization set up, and you can send me like a super chat or something. If you are going to, I would just ask. My preference would be to do the Buy Me a Coffee link, just because Google takes half of whatever it is that's given, and I don't see any of that until I reach a certain threshold. With the Buy Me a Coffee, like I said, it can literally go straight to what we're doing here at the center. All right, so we're about 37 minutes in. Anybody else have any other questions or anything they want to talk about while I still look for a hacking room to try to get into? Nope. We just quiet today. All right. So is my day going all right? My day is going good. Like I said, I had a lot of meetings. I was just saying, I've run over the last 2 or 3 years. I've hosted a podcast almost every week, and then I hosted a second podcast while working full time in the middle of the pandemic. And I don't think I've ever been as exhausted as I am now. Am I going to create a certification for pen testing? I'll be honest with you, Ty. I probably won't. My goal is to teach you the hands-on stuff that you can use real world, and then hopefully that will help point you in the right directions of the certifications. Not that I don't think it would be cool to have my own certification, but I think there are some really good ones, and I just don't want to continue to oversaturate the pen testing market, because there are a ton of certifications, right? You have the EJBT, and then you have the was it EJ, and then the ECPT, and then you have the PNPT, but then you also have the PJPT, and then you have Pen Test Plus, you have the OSCP, you have the CPT, you have the CEH, you have there's so many different certifications, and I'll be honest with you, each one of them um, have their bright spots and their bright points, and I just don't feel like fighting to get in the mix of all of that. Um, Now, web app stuff, I might consider APIs. Um, Shout out to Corey Ball. I think he's doing a really good job with his API security course. Um, and I don't know if there needs to be too many more certifications. I just want to get the people trained and then point them in the right direction. And like I said, really focus on the hands-on stuff, as well as, I don't want to knock anybody, but a lot of courses, they teach you a lot more theory than practical. And I want my stuff to kind of be like 80 practical, 20 theory. And the theory is, real world, like telling you, hey, this is how it would look in a real pen test. What are the odds of you actually doing this in a real pen test? Like, for example, um, I hardly think anyone's doing buffer overflows anymore, right? Um, Also, you probably will never do something like a DDoS attack in real world, because you don't want to cause a denial of service condition when you're testing in the real world, because businesses have to run and time is money. Jonathan, you're new. It says you're new to all of this. No problem. We were all new to this. Shoot, there's a lot of this that I'm still new to. I mean, heck, we're all new to AI right now, right? So doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We all start somewhere, right? And just like people talk about when they want to work on their health or work on something, you can either be day one or one day. So it doesn't matter. And again, you're in the right place, man, because I want to be able to help however I can. So so yeah, don't worry about being new to it. Like I said, we're not, again, this isn't school. I'm not grading you. It's free, so you're not really losing any money or wasting any money from it. So and you learn a couple skills from it, or you learn a lot from it. It it's all beneficial. So let's see what I want to try to work on. Hmm. I did Mr. Robot already. An AI model was able to reverse. Oh, if if encryption algorithms are being broken, um, a lot of things are in trouble, right? The the foundation of all security is the CIA triad, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. If you break the encryption, that breaks two of those three pillars. If you break encryption, then nothing stays confidential, and then you can't verify. And also, if you can break encryption, then you can also probably break hashes, so that breaks the integrity. Bank mess. So yeah, banking, crypto. Um, I mean, that's just two of the things. What about anything that gets sent over an encrypted channel for for health record purposes or government or anything? Crypto to zero, public ledger can be spoofed now. I might have to do. Let me do some research on that. Hold on. Let me bring that up before I'm over. Hold on. AI breaks. I mean, did that? Where did that? I don't see anything about it. Okay, so or let's see. AI, maybe I versus encryption. I mean, you know what though? I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm OpenAI Q project supposedly cracked AES. Okay, OpenAI. And see, but this is one of the dangers of putting something out that you don't fully understand, right? Um, and everybody's racing to be first, uh, which kind of goes back into why we're doing the Appsec Rabbit Hole. Um, in this space, everybody's racing to be first so that they can be the first to market or to get acquired by another company or to get that VC funding or whatever the case may be. And in that race to be first, they focus on the functionality of whatever it is that they're designing. So the application, open AI, whatever the case may be, they are rushing that process to put it out and put it out to production and show whatever data they have on it so that this way they can start making money off of it. And security is always an afterthought. the last three startup companies that I worked for, it was always an uphill battle to get security to a place of being proactive instead of reactive. So, what do I mean by proactive versus reactive? Typically, security teams are reacting with their security, whether you're doing penetration testing, whether you're responding, doing IR, whether you're doing logging, you are reacting to something. So, pen testing, you're reacting to a deadline to be compliant or whatever, or a vulnerability being found on the platform already that was requiring you to test everything now. Same, incident response. It's in its name. You're responding to an incident. Even when you're working in a SOC, you're looking at alerts that come in and you're responding to it. And my goal when I started working for these companies, these startup companies, was okay. I get it's going to take a while to get to this point, but at this point, let's really start focusing on that proactive side. So this is where, in the AppSec space, you hear the idea of pushing left, and the concept of pushing left is to get security in the SDLC, or the software development lifecycle, early on, because typically security isn't brought in until the very end. So they're designing it, they're talking about it, they're planning it, they're on the whiteboard sessions. Then they start coding and they start bringing in different parts. They're looking at different libraries and different components to bring in for it to work, different APIs, what have you. And then after all of that, they go, we probably should have checked to see if it was secure, or something, or a security incident happened. And then they go, we probably should see it if it's secure. And this is with financial, and I've worked for a crypto. So the three startups I've worked for, two of them were in the finance sector, and one of them was also, I guess you could consider finance, because it was crypto. So all of them had the same idea. They just rushed to get first. They all tell the same story of, the CEO and a few of the developers were used to hang out in a garage or sit at a table and just code. And that's their story of how they get started. And it's like they use that as an excuse to, when you ask people, well, why wasn't security implemented sooner? So anyway, long story short, this is exactly what's happening now. So they're putting out AI because AI is the new hot thing, and everybody's rushing to be first. Everybody's rushing because they see the dollar value, and at some point, the dollar value becomes more valuable than anything else. So now you have this program that they're doing things, and no one stopped to ask, "Hey, should we do this or should we not?" And now you're going to run the risk that if it is cracking AES encryption, and if it is cracking, I mean, it's AES 192, but it's only a matter of time before it starts cracking stronger encryptions, right? So they're either going to have to start working on coming up with stronger algorithms, or they're going to have to scale it back, right? So you're cracking 192, that's fine. Now, if you get to start cracking things like if it cracks 256, if it cracks 256, I think we might have that's when you'll start hearing, you might start seeing some widespread panic, because with 192 they're going to look at it and say, oh well, it's obsolete anyway. Yeah, but you also don't want to do that, because remember back a few years ago when, I forgot, was it Facebook? I think it was Facebook. but they had an AI model, and the two computers started talking to each other, and they developed their own language, and the programmers couldn't even understand what was being said, so they had to shut it down. In Nmap, where do you get the script arguments? So it depends. So it's the script. What do you mean when you're talking about script arguments? You put it in the Nmap. You put it in the command, right? So if you or are you saying you want to look for the list of script arguments? No, they won't. They won't, Genshin. Um, Jeez, I don't have my Linux. I don't have my. I'm trying to remember the exact directory in Linux, but it all depends on. Like I said, it depends on what you're using. So like different Nmap scripts have different arguments, and I think that is in the NSE script location. I'm just gonna. Yes, you can do script help for, and that'll bring up whatever. But if you want like the specific arguments, um, where is the Nmap? I can't tell you the last time I. So you, like I said, you go into, is it user? I need to bring up a Linux machine, but I think it's like user local share, something, Nmap, like user local share Nmap, or it's like user bin, and I have to I need to put it in Linux. It's like start typing it. But I mean, you can Google it. Um, but there you can find all the scripts, and then from there you can find the different arguments for the different scripts. So yeah, I think it's like user local bin, user local is it user local bin nmap scripts, something like that. But yeah, like I said, you can find it there, and then you can go into this. You can find the script arguments as well. So it depends on user share and map scripts. Yep. And then from there, like I said, you can look up each one. Or you can find it online. Go to nmap.org and find it there. Um, oh, sorry. I saw saw a kid running by screaming. I'm like, what just happened? All right, so yes, okay. So we're at 5 o'clock now. What else is everybody working on? I guess for the rest of the week to get to the weekend. What are you looking forward to? I have that here. I do. Come on, what y'all working on? Where y'all trying to get to? What y'all got going on this weekend? I have um I have a Super Smash Brothers tournament this Saturday. So this Friday I have a night we have a nighttime gaming. So from 7 to 11 you can come hang out, game, get some pizza. So that's $20 and you can come hang out for the night. And then Saturday we're doing our Smash Brothers tournament at 2 p.m. That's also $20. Half of that goes to the prize pot. The other half is the venue fee. And then Sunday is my day off, and then we're back at it Monday. Um, and then next Friday we're doing a gaming and anime night. So we'll be throw on some anime and get some gaming in. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's a new rumor and something in Try Hack Me that I haven't done yet that I could walk through while we're talking. But yes, like I said, so that's what I got coming up this weekend. I have the tournaments, I have the night party, and then hopefully I'll have an answer next week on when we can get started with the Appsec Rabbit Hole. So, all right, well, if that's it for me, y'all, then like I said, I'm not gonna keep y'all too much longer. I'm gonna let y'all get back. You said do hack the box. Um, eh, let me see. Let's see what's on hack the box. Hmm. I'm not. Hold on. Let me. I don't have my credentials on this machine for hack the box. Um, look, I ain't gonna. No, I ain't gonna say. That. I ain't gonna say that. Are my hack the box credentials? Interesting. Nope, I don't think we're gonna do no hack the box today because let me see. All right. Crap. So let's see. Machines. Oh crap! I just remembered I can't do hack. I can't do hack the box because I don't have a Linux machine on this computer. I'm on one of my gaming PCs for the center. I don't have a Linux distribution on here. So I can't do hack the box. Sorry. So I have to set that up for another day or when I connect it to my other PC. Um like I said, let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and log off because it looks like everybody's kind of breaking off now anyway. Um if y'all have any questions for me that you didn't get a chance to ask, go ahead and send me a message. For those who have started sending me emails about mentoring and things like that, I am going to get back to all of those emails. As a matter of fact, same concept with the Appsec Rabbit Hole. I'm waiting to figure out what time I have, and then I'm gonna try see if I can start doing some group mentorship calls. I don't have the bandwidth to do one-on-ones just yet, but if I can do some group mentoring calls, I'll see what I can do. So if you did send me a message, I am not ignoring you. I'm sifting through a lot of emails that honestly have been coming in just and a lot of it is just been crazy. So I will get back to that and I will get back to you, I promise. Just give me some time and yeah, I will see y'all. I don't know what's today is Wednesday. I will maybe see y'all tomorrow or Friday. And if not, then I'll definitely see y'all next week. And when I do, I will hopefully have more answers as far as what I want to do with this rabbit hole stream. So until next time, y'all be safe and take it easy. And I will talk to y'all later.